1921, Hitler's order for the attack on Russia, he had given a date of May the 15th, by which time all preparations must be complete. By the beginning of the month, nearly 80 German divisions were already in place, their movements covered by an elaborate campaign of deception and disinformation. Dozens of forward airfields had been built in secret, and vast quantities of fuel, stores and ammunition stockpiled close to the jumping-off areas. However, there were already signs that Hitler's timetable was falling to pieces. The winter of 1940 had been exceptionally long and harsh, and the eastern frontier regions were still a quagmire. Neither had the army yet received anything like the number of trucks it needed. With a postponement looking ever more likely, events in the south soon made it inescapable. In October 1940, Greece had been invaded by the Italians, but the Greeks had succeeded in driving them back to Albania. The British sent an expeditionary force to help Greece, suddenly posing a grave threat to Germany's Romanian oil supplies. Adolf Hitler was furious at the British intervention and ordered the invasion and occupation of Greece. The Greek campaign was intended to be a simple operation, and Hitler thought he could count on the support of Yugoslavia. However, on March the 27th, an anti-German faction, encouraged by British agents, mounted a coup and deposed the Yugoslav government. Hitler was forced to improvise. On April the 6th, German troops, led by powerful panzer formations, swept into both Yugoslavia and Greece. Until the armored units could be retrieved from the Balkans, the invasion of the Soviet Union would have to wait. The new date for Operation Barbarossa was June the 22nd. The defeat of Yugoslavia took the Germans only 12 days. It was a savage campaign in which the capital Belgrade was bombed into rubble, killing 17,000 civilians. 2 more weeks and Greece was also overrun. By the end of April, the British Expeditionary Force had been evacuated by sea, leaving thousands of its men prisoners and abandoning most of its heavy equipment. As soon as the Balkan campaign was over, German armoured forces and headquarters units began to trickle northwards to join the massive forces already assembling in Romania, Poland and East Prussia. Meanwhile, reconnaissance units of the Luftwaffe worked at a frantic pace. Every available hour of daylight was used to plot Russian troop concentrations, supply dumps, headquarters and airfields, and mark them down for destruction. For the invasion of Russia, fully 75% of the entire German army, more than 3 million men, was assembled into 3 massive army groups. the armoured fists of the attack deployed more than 3,500 tanks, and the ground forces were supported by 2,500 aircraft. It was an enormous effort, and there was no possibility that it could be completely hidden from the Russians. However, Adolf Hitler had a ready explanation for Stalin. With breathtaking audacity, he sent a message telling him that he had moved his troops to Poland to protect them from British bombs. By the beginning of June, the infantry divisions were in place close to the Soviet frontiers. Soon after, the motorized units and armored divisions, the spearheads of the assault, began to edge nearer to their jumping-off positions. Army Group North was concentrated in East Prussia. Commanded by Field Marshal Wilhelm von Leeb, Army Group North had 18th and 16th Armies. Von Leeb's armoured spearhead was General Pertner's Panzer Group 4. The infantry armies would field 20 divisions, and the Panzer Group 3 armoured and 3 motorised infantry divisions. The Finnish, Karelian and southeastern armies would join the battle later, in loose cooperation with Army Group North. For air support, von Leeb could call on the 1st Air Fleet. Army Group Centre was deployed in Poland. Commanded by Field Marshal Fedor von Bock, Army